There is a book that was never written, a manual that was never published. It contains the rules of a game you never agreed to play, yet you are a player on its board every single day. This is not a physical book you can hold in your hands. Its pages are written in the language of human behavior, its chapters etched into the architecture of our society. It is the forbidden psychology playbook, and its secrets have been guarded, whispered, and ruthlessly implemented by the 1% for generations. This playbook is the reason why the gap between the ultra-wealthy and everyone else seems to widen into an uncrossable chasm. It explains why you can work with relentless dedication and still feel financially stagnant, while a select few appear to ascend with an almost gravitational defiance of normal economic rules. They are not necessarily smarter or more inherently worthy than you are. They are simply playing from a different set of instructions. They have accessed the playbook. Today, we are going to do the unthinkable. We are going to open this forbidden playbook, and we are going to read its most dangerous chapters aloud for everyone to hear. This is not about conspiracy theories. This is about documented psychological principles weaponized on a mass scale. This is about understanding the invisible forces that shape your desires, your fears, your spending habits, and your very perception of reality. The first rule in the playbook, the foundational strategy upon which all others are built, is the complete and total hijacking of human perception. The elite understand a profound and unsettling truth: direct control is messy, inefficient, and breeds rebellion. You cannot force 1 million people to do your bidding without expending immense resources on enforcement. So, they evolved a more elegant, more insidious form of control. They realize they don't need to control you, they only need to control your perception of the world. They manipulate the informational and emotional landscape so masterfully that you willingly walk the paths they have laid out, all the while believing you are making your own choices, chasing your own desires, and navigating your own fears. Your reality becomes a curated experience, a sophisticated illusion. Think for a moment about the last major purchase you made. The car, the phone, the brand of clothing. Was that decision a purely logical assessment of value and utility? Or was it influenced by a feeling, an association, an identity you wanted to project? That feeling was not an accident. It was a calculated engineering project. It is the result of billions of dollars spent on marketing, neuromarketing, and psychological research designed to create specific neural pathways in your brain that link their product to a core human desire, status, belonging, freedom, or security. This perceptual control extends far beyond consumer goods. The news media you consume, the social media algorithms that dictate what you see, the political narratives that dominate the airwaves, these are all tools in the playbook for manufacturing a consensus reality. They create a shared hallucination where certain ideas are normalized, even if they are illogical, and other ideas are ridiculed, even if they are true. They make you fear economic collapse to make you accept corporate bailouts. They make you desire social validation to keep you endlessly consuming. They fragment the populace into opposing ideological tribes so you are too busy fighting your neighbor over superficial differences to notice the structural changes happening above you. This is the ultimate goal of perceptual control, to make you a willing participant in your own containment. You are not a prisoner in a visible cell, you are a citizen in a prison whose walls are made of ideas, a maze whose boundaries you cannot see. The moment you recognize the walls are there is the moment you can begin to find the exit. The second chapter in the Forbidden Playbook deals with a powerful psychological weapon called cognitive dissonance. This is the mental stress, the unbearable tension, you feel when you hold two or more contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values at the same time. The human brain is a machine that craves consistency and harmony. When dissonance arises, the psyche will go to extraordinary lengths to resolve it, often in the most irrational ways possible. The 1% are master architects of this internal conflict. They systematically create problems and then position themselves as the providers of the solution, a solution that conveniently perpetuates the very problem it claims to solve. They fund political campaigns on platforms of reform, knowing the candidates are indebted to their interests. They contribute to public health crises through their industrial practices, and then present their pharmaceutical or wellness companies as the saviors. They engineer a culture of chronic overwork and burnout, and then sell you the antidote. Meditation apps, productivity seminars, and lifestyle gurus, all designed to help you cope with the exhaustion that their system generates. You are left in a perpetual state of internal conflict. You believe in hard work, but you are not rewarded proportionally. You are told you live in a land of opportunity, but you feel the doors of advancement slamming shut. This cognitive dissonance is not a bug in the system, it is a designed feature. A population that is psychologically off balance, constantly trying to resolve its own internal contradictions, is a population that is distracted, divided, and disempowered. It lacks the focus and collective will to challenge the system itself. Furthermore, the playbook uses dissonance to create fierce loyalty. If they can get you to invest a significant amount of your time, money, or identity into their paradigm, even when it harms you, a powerful dissonance is triggered. The thought, "I have wasted my life," or "I have been a fool," is too painful to accept. So, your mind resolves the tension by doubling down on the very system that betrayed you. You decide the system is righteous and you simply need to try harder. You buy the next course, invest in the next scheme, and defend the cage that confines you, because to do otherwise would be to admit a devastating personal loss. Breaking this cycle requires a radical acceptance of uncomfortable truths. You must be willing to admit you were wrong, that you were misled, without allowing that realization to paralyze you with shame. See cognitive dissonance not as a sign of your own failure, but as a flashing red alarm on your psychological dashboard, signaling that you are being manipulated. It is the friction of truth trying to break through the layers of conditioning. The third strategy in the forbidden playbook will be familiar to anyone who has studied behavioral psychology, but its application on a societal scale is where its true power lies. This is the principle of operant conditioning. At its core, operant conditioning is simple. Behavior that is rewarded tends to be repeated. Behavior that is punished tends to be extinguished. The 1% and the systems they control have become grand masters of designing the reward and punishment schedules for entire civilizations. The rewards are meticulously crafted dopamine hits, delivered with precision. It is the like on your social media post when you express a conformist opinion. It is the promotion you receive for being a compliant, hardworking employee who never questions the status quo. It is the social status and admiration you gain from owning the right luxury item, driving the right car, or vacationing in the right destination. These are all positive reinforcements, carefully dispensed to encourage behaviors that serve the system's ultimate goals: passive consumption, unwavering conformity, and political complacency. On the flip side, the punishments for non-compliance are swift, severe, and often devastating. Dare to express a dissenting political view online, you may be met with a digital mob, social ostracism, or professional repercussions. Try to organize a labor union at your workplace, you will face subtle intimidation, bureaucratic sabotage, or outright termination. Challenge a mainstream narrative promoted by corporate media, you will be labeled a dangerous conspiracy theorist, deplatformed, and pushed to the fringes of respectable discourse. From cradle to grave, you are living inside a massive, invisible Skinner box. You are the subject in a grand experiment, conditioned to press the correct levers for your pellets of social and financial validation, and trained to avoid the levers that deliver a painful electric shock of social and economic punishment. The maze you are running is the corporate ladder, the consumer marketplace, the social hierarchy. You believe you are exercising free will, making conscious choices, but you are largely navigating a conditioning chamber, designed by the world's most sophisticated behavioral psychologists, all funded by the ultra-wealthy. The path to liberation from this conditioning begins with awareness. You must consciously observe what behaviors are being rewarded in your environment, and more importantly, you must ask who is doing the rewarding and what their ultimate motive is. Pay even closer attention to the thoughts and actions that are being punished. In a system designed for control, the punished paths often lead directly to personal autonomy and collective empowerment. The fourth technique in the playbook is so subtle it operates just below the radar of your conscious awareness. This is the art of heuristic hijacking. A heuristic is a mental shortcut, a rule of thumb your brain uses to make quick, efficient decisions without having to laboriously process every piece of information. Expensive equals good is a heuristic. If a celebrity I trust endorses it, it must be reliable, is a heuristic. If everyone is doing it, it must be safe and correct, is another. These cognitive shortcuts are essential for navigating a complex world, but they also represent a profound vulnerability in your psychological armor. The elite systematically identify these heuristics and then hijack them to bypass your critical thinking faculties and guide your behavior directly. The entire luxury goods industry is a monument to hijacking the price-quality heuristic. They are often not selling a product that is objectively hundreds of times better, they are selling a story, a symbol, a piece of a desired identity that triggers that mental shortcut. Celebrity endorsements are a pure, unadulterated form of heuristic hijacking, transferring the trust and affection you have for a famous person onto a product or idea you have not critically evaluated. Social proof, the powerful heuristic that the crowd is usually right, is weaponized through fabricated trends, bot-driven online engagement, and carefully orchestrated public perception campaigns. They create the illusion of a mass movement to trigger your innate desire to belong. The scarcity heuristic, which makes us value what is rare, is artificially manufactured with limited edition releases and limited time offers to induce a fear of missing out that overrides your logical assessment of value. Your brain, in its quest for efficiency, gladly accepts these prepackaged shortcuts. It does not stop to conduct a blind taste test on the expensive wine, or to investigate whether the millions of likes are from genuine people. It sees the trigger, the high price, the famous face, the large crowd, and it executes the pre-programmed behavior, desire, trust, and purchase. To defend against this, you must consciously slow down your decision-making process. When you feel a strong, impulsive urge to buy, agree, or conform, recognize that feeling as a potential signal of a heuristic hijacking in progress. Pause. Interrogate the impulse. Demand evidence. Force your brain to engage its analytical, critical prefrontal cortex instead of relying on the autopilot of its heuristic limbic system. This is the practice of reclaiming your cognitive sovereignty. The fifth and final chapter in the Forbidden Playbook represents the endgame, the pinnacle of psychological control. This is the construction of the Panopticon Society. The Panopticon was a revolutionary prison design conceived by philosopher Jeremy Bentham. It consisted of a circular building with a central watchtower. The guard in the tower could see into every prisoner's cell, but the prisoners could never see into the tower. They never knew if they were being watched at any given moment. This uncertainty, this feeling of an invisible, omnipresent gaze, forces the prisoners to regulate their own behavior at all times, as if they were always being monitored. They internalize the guard and become their own jailers. The 1%, in collaboration with the surveillance state and big tech, have constructed a digital panopticon of a scale and sophistication that Bentham could never have imagined. Your smartphone is a tracking device and a listening post in your pocket. Your social media profiles are a meticulously detailed map of your psyche, your social connections, your beliefs, and your vulnerabilities. Your search history, your purchase data, your location pings, your private messages, it is all collected, aggregated, analyzed, and stored. The goal of this vast data collection is not merely to sell you more targeted advertisements. The ultimate goal is what philosopher Michel Foucault called disciplinary power. It is the power to normalize, to make you conform not through overt force, but through the internalized, subconscious fear of being seen, judged, categorized, and penalized for stepping out of line. You preemptively censor your own online speech because you fear social or professional consequences. You adopt popular ideologies not out of deep conviction, but from a fear of being ostracized by the digital mob. You make life choices, from your career path to your relationships, based on how they will be perceived and validated on social media. You live your life under the unblinking gaze of an invisible audience, and in doing so, you slowly, methodically erase your authentic self and replace it with a compliant, marketable, and non-threatening avatar. This system of control is brilliantly efficient and self-sustaining. It requires no stormtroopers, no secret police kicking down doors. The citizens, gripped by the fear of the invisible gaze, police themselves and each other. The elite sit in the central watchtower of the global panopticon. They do not need to watch every single person every single second. They only need to possess the terrifying potential to do so. That potential alone is enough to keep the entire system in a state of perfect order. Resisting the panopticon requires a two-pronged attack. First, you must take practical steps to reclaim your digital privacy, but more importantly, you must reclaim your intellectual and spiritual autonomy. You must cultivate a sense of self that is so strong, so internally validated, that the invisible gaze of the tower loses its power to shame you into conformity. You must be willing to be seen, to be judged, to be wrong, and to be unpopular. Your self-worth must be derived from an internal compass, not from the external validation of the crowd or the fear of the watchtower. So, there you have them. The 5 core chapters from the Forbidden Psychology Playbook. The hijacking of perception to shape your reality. The weaponization of cognitive dissonance to keep you off balance. The application of operant conditioning to train your behavior. The hijacking of heuristics to bypass your critical thought. And the architecture of the panopticon to make you your own jailer. This knowledge is not meant to fill you with despair or paranoia. Its purpose is the exact opposite. It is meant to empower you, for you cannot escape a prison if you do not know you are inside one. You cannot resist a manipulation you cannot see. This is your map to the maze. The individuals who use these tactics are not gods or demons. They are human beings who have learned and applied a set of powerful psychological principles. And anything that can be learned can be understood. Anything that can be understood can be countered, subverted, and rendered ineffective. The most profound act of rebellion is to see the system for what it is. The second is to begin building a life and a community outside of its control, one authentic thought, one conscious action, one genuine connection at a time. The power they wield is the power you have unconsciously consented to give them. That consent can be revoked. The playbook is now in your hands. The choice of what you do next has always been, and will always be, yours.